Hi and welcome to Visual Basic Object Oriented Sales Inventory System. Okay, let me show you guys how the whole system works. If I click on reset, there we go. Alright, supposing I select the following item and enter some numbers in there for how many broccoli I need, and tomato, mushroom. Okay, those are the numbers that I want, but unfortunately, mistakenly, I left this one out. If I click on total, you see what happened. It default back to 0. I have the total cost of total and the tax. If you add this together, that should give you that. The other thing within this object-oriented system is we have our exit. So you can either choose yes or no. Right? It's a very interesting tutorial. You will like it because everything is all object-oriented. So with that, I'm going to take you straight into Visual Basic Development environment, and we'll put one of these together. So let's do that now. Hi and welcome to Visual Basic Object Oriented tutorial. I'm going to start by clicking on Create New. Now that the dialog box is ready, make sure Visual Basic and Windows Forms applications are selected. Then I'll give my project a name. Let's call it VB underscore sales underscore inventory, and it's meant to be an object-oriented system. There, I'm going to save that. Okay, now that the form is ready, I'm going to define the size of this form. Let's go for approximately 1000 plus. I like full screen, so I'll go for 1386. Let's make the width, the height 800. There we go. Now the next thing is, let's come straight to the tools, and we need a button. We need, shall we go for checkbox? Okay, now let's go for label, and we also need a text box. Let's look for text box. There we go, right there. So select all of those components and just duplicate them all. So first of all, I'm going to increase the size of every single component there. Let's increase the font size to approximately 20. Right now, the text box, I'm going to copy that, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those. Okay, now the checkbox, I'm going to need 5 of those as well. There. And the label, I'm going to need 1 label here because I use that as my, let's use that as, let's go back in there. I'm going to need 3 of those really. Yeah. Okay, those 3 labels. Let's change the properties. Border, let's change the border to 3D. Auto size, change that to force. And I think that's about it. Let's get rid of the content inside that label. Delete. There we go. Those are our labels, 3 of them. I'm going to rearrange everything properly. And those labels will also be named. I think that one we should call that one LBL tags. Then the next one here is going to be called LBL subtotal. And finally, this one will be called LBL total. Right, that's good. So that's for the labels. Now this very button here, this one is going to be called BTN. Okay, let's copy, let's go for BTN exit. I'm going to need a couple of those anyway. Exit, and we have BTN exit, and copy those ones. This is, you just need to select Control and click and copy. This one will be, let's say total cost. And right here, if that's the total cost, let's call that BTN total cost. BTN total cost. And finally, the third button, I'm going to call that BTN reset. BTN reset. Just copy that and paste that in the text box as reset. Right. Now the first thing I like to do is, let's go straight here. You see where it says project? Drop it down and let's select add class. So this class that I'm going to be adding, I will now call this class, let's call it iExit. So that will be the name of my class. So click on add. Okay, right inside the class, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to declare public. Let's say public. Let's share it. Shared function. Right, and what will be the name of our function? Let's say exit system. One word. Right there, that's the name of my function. Share means more than one component can use that. So let's go for dim. Let's say exit with an S as dialog result. And now exit, let's use message box to output some values. Message box dot show, and here is our message. Let's go for confirm if you want to exit. Right there, and come out here. Let's enter a title for it. I'm going to call it, because I'll be using it for sales inventory system. And out here, let's add Visual Basic built-in function. That will be the button for the button. So let's say .yes or no. So that is one of the built-in function I will use. Another built-in function will be the Visual Basic icon. Okay, message box icon. So the icon in this case is going to be question, because we're asking you to confirm if you want to exit or not. Now let's use an if statement. If exits with an S equals dialog result .yes, then application .exit. Right, that's it. I'm not going to return anything. I'm just going to leave it like that. If you try to return, it will just be looping, so that's fine. I'm just going to leave it like that. So what I would then do is, since it's an object-oriented system, I'm now going to call this, okay, iExit. Right there. So let's come right in here. You see the exit, double click on the exit button, and we enter iExit .exit system. That's all we need to do. Okay, inside our button right there, you see, let's double click and just enter iExit .exit system. Now look at the class. Okay, this will prompt the user to confirm if they would like to exit the system. If they click on yes, the system, they will exit the system. If they click on no, they stay within the system. Okay, and to call this class, all you need to do is call the name of the class dot the function's name, okay, which is what I've done in here. Okay, let's run it and you see what I'm talking about. There we go, our program is running now. So if I click on exit, there we go guys. You see, using object oriented technique. Nope. Yes. Alright, that's one easy one taken care of. So let's take care of another very easy one, which is the reset, to take care of all of these buttons. Okay, before I take care of this reset, let's take care of, let's give all of those objects a name first. Let's just go for txt item 1. So that is item 1 there. You can call yours whatever you like. That's what I just intend to call mine as 2. We have item 3 here, 4 and 5. Alright, so let's take care of this reset now, just for these buttons, for this text box and these labels here. Double click on the reset. Right here, I'm going to use a for loop for each txt as control in me.control. That is supposed to be the form itself, me.controls. So let's say if txt dot get type is get type text box, right, then let's clear the system. txt.text equals nothing. There, that's all there is to it. Okay, let's change this. That should be there. Get rid of that and get rid of this as well. Right, subtotal dot text equals clear. Now LBL tax clear, LBL total clear. So that's out of the way. Now the next thing I want to do is, because I don't want this text box to take in any other value more than, let's enter zeros in them, any other value more than numbers. So I'm going to write another lines of code to take care of that. So let's align these maybe to the right and select it all. Let's go to events here. Right here, let's look for key press right there. Double click on the key press. I don't want that. Let's give it a name. Let's come back right now. Key press right there. Let's just call it numbers only. Numbers only. Yeah, that's the name. Okay, I have a proper name for it there. Let's collapse this. And in here, I'm going to use an if statement. If ASCII e dot keychar is not equals to, let's say 8, then if ASCII e dot keychar less than and equals to less than 48, or the ASCII is greater than 57. Let's say greater than 57, right, then e dot handle equals true. right there and there. So which means you will not, or the end user will not be able to enter any other character apart from numbers. Okay, because this is an object-oriented system or technique that I'm using in developing this system, I will then, let's create another class. This class, I'm going to call it food because the whole system is based on food items. So that's the name of the class. Make sure the class is selected, add. Right, that's the name right there. So in here, I'm going to declare, let's say public. I think maybe public would make it accessible to everyone. No, let's change it to private underscore item as, let's make that double. Okay, let's say item number 1. Let's make it double. I'm going to need 4 more of those. Let's use uppercase and there. Okay, now that I've done that, I've declared all of the object I intend to use. Okay, right underneath here, I'm going to enter a function that I'll use to add up everything. So let's say function get amount as double, right, and return, let's say want it to return what. Okay, let's put that in a bracket, all of these. Okay, let's add them together, plus 2 plus 3 plus 4, and that's 5. So there should be a plus here. Alright, I have added them all together, so I'll be calling that inside one of those components. Now the next thing is, each of these objects here, they must have properties. So I'm going to now create a property for each of them. Because they are private, they're private so that nobody will gain access to it, but which means they must have a public property that they can share. Let's make that a public property. Okay, the first one is going to be, let's say item 1. Let's call it item 1, and that's going to be double, right? So what's going to happen now is I will now use set, and I'm sure Visual Basic will actually complete the rest for me. Set value as double, right? Okay, so let's say, you see that if the value is less than and equals to 0, then item 1 as underscore item 1, this very 1, equals the value itself. There, that's all. And the get, got a get function here. All I just want that to do is to return item 1, return item number 1, this very one. There we go, done. So that's the properties for this very one. Okay, I'm going to now copy this number 1 property, item number 1's property. You can give it another name. I'm just calling it item. So if I've copied that, and you can now collapse it if you want. The choice is yours. Now make a space, that's for item number 2, or just change this to 2. See, that's why I gave them a name that is very easy to use. That's item number 2. Okay, now underneath here, item number 3. Let's see, I think I may have to collapse that as well. So have a look, it's the same lines of codes. So let's collapse this one. So you can see this one. Now item number 4. 4 there and another 4 here. Right. Collapse this. Now finally for item number 5. So we can collapse this now. 5, 5 and 5. There. So those are all the properties for each of the object I have up there. As you can see, they are all the same. It's the same thing apart from the different names. Okay, now the next thing is to go into the form here, this very form, and let's double click on total. So right there I'm going to create an object. I'll call it, let's see, what shall we call it? We can just call it items. Okay, items. Well, let's give it another name. Let's say product as food. Okay, and that is equal to new food. If you guys remember the name of my class right there, you can see it up there. Okay, so that is the new object created from food. All right, the next thing is I'm now going to call product this very one. Okay, product dot item number 1. Okay, equals, let's say we have txt item 1, that's the text box, dot text. So whatever is inside txt item 1 is then stored inside product. But let me now multiply that by maybe 2.3. That is the cost of that very product, and that's supposed to be apple, I think. Yeah, that's an apple. Now the next one, I'm just gonna copy this and change it around. I have 5 of those here. This is item number 2, item number 3, item 4, item 5, and let's change the name here as well. 5, 4, 3 and 2. Then the price here, maybe give that 9, maybe 4 something. Let's make up the price, and here 340, and maybe here we just make that 7. Right. So the next thing we want to do is I'm now going to call LBL subtotal dot text equals product. Yeah, that's it. That should be product, and that's the object dot get the amount. You guys remember the function call amount right in here? Let me show it to you, where I carried out all the calculations. That's it. That's what I'm calling now. Okay, we get the amount right in there, and we store it straight into the subtotal. Now, one very important thing. Let's come up here. I'm now going to declare a variable here. Let's say dim tax rate underscore rate as maybe double, Okay, that's my tax rate. I think I'm going to change this to, let's make it constant instead of just, it's a constant, and let's say equals 0.75. Alright, let's just call this MC tax, right? And underneath here, let's create, I think I should go for public function. I'm going to use that for my tax. Let's call it C find tax. Okay, and let's say by value C amount as, should I go for, let's go for double instead of decimal, double. Okay, and here say copy that, paste that here, press enter. Alright, that is as double. So let's complete the tax calculation. I'm going to say C find tax equals C amount minus, say C amount multiply that by MC tax rate. So I'm going to use that for to carry out the calculation for the tax rate. So that's the function to calculate the tax. Alright, let's go back into our button here. You see this very one? I'm going to redesign the whole interface. It looks messy for now. Okay, double click on that, and right underneath here, let's say dim iTax, let's say as double, right? So iTax equals C find tax. Okay, and this is what we want to work out, the 75% of there. So that takes care of that. Maybe I should move this, cut that off, and paste it right underneath or above the object right there. Okay, now that we know we found the tax, we now need to assign that into LBL tax. The tax equals, let's format it to currency there, and what are we formatting to currency? That will be iTax there. Now to work out the total, LBL total, that will become all of these currency. Let's copy that anyway and just dump it right here, and whatever we have in here plus subtotal. So that should give us the overall amount you're paying. Okay, look at the code, all of the calculations. We've actually implemented an object-oriented technique in there, and that's all there is to it here. So all we just need to do now is let's try it out. So if I enter whatever amount in there, let's say this one, nothing is happening there yet. Let's say I enter 343 and just click on that. So you see that, guys, 8 plus this, get this. Oh, we need to enter a pound sign here. So let's go back and just enter a pound sign in there. Where is it? This very one, subtotal. Let's get the subtotal on board. No, maybe below and do that. Let's do it here. Subtotal equal all of this. And just get rid of this right there. So let's try that again. Tell it about value in there and just add it up. So subtotal now has the pound sign. Okay, clear. That's good. Right. The other thing is, I would like to now disable all of these, and we are only able to enable it with this checkbox. Let's do that. Let's come into, double click on the form load right here. Inside the form load, let's use this technique for each. Let's say txt, and we enter them in a curly bracket, and all of them, they all have this txt item 1, 2, 3 and so on. So I want to paste that in here that I've copied. That is for item 1. Okay, item 2, item 3, item 4, and item number 5. Right. So all of these items are more or less in an array, so all we just need to do is txt.enable equals false. There, that's all. Okay, so that's fine. So if I run it, it will all be disabled. You won't be able to do anything to look at that. You cannot enter anything on it. So the only way out is for us to use this checkbox to enable it. And the way around that, let's use an if statement. If chk apple, that is the name of that text box, that checkbox, dot checked equals true, then txt number 1 dot enable equals true. Right. If that is true, txt 1.text, let's get rid of the content in there, and we want it to self-focus in there as well as focus dot focus. Right. Else, okay, let's say if it's false, let's just copy this. I'm going to use another if statement. If it's false, delete that. False and false here, and here becomes 0. Okay, so if I run it now, you see what I'm talking about. It's all disabled, enabled, and we have our cursor right in there. I can then enter a value and carry out my calculations. Okay, this one's nothing is happening to them yet. Okay, I can just copy all of these and go right in there, double click on that. That's meant to be orange, paste that and just change it around. Change this to orange, and this to orange as well, and this becomes 2. And 2 and 2 and 2 there. Okay, you get the whole idea, guys. So I will now speed that up. Let me demonstrate it to you first. Enter value in there. We don't want 6. Alright, there. Okay, let's speed that up. Okay, and this one, when we click on that, I expect it to default back to 0. Okay, then let's speed it all up. Okay, all done. Okay, for the 5 checkbox, all the codes are in place. Now what about the resets? Okay, we want to reset all of this back to 0. So when we come in here now, okay, reset, and we just, okay, we can now, let's see if it's going to work this way. It should work anyway. Paste that and just change everything to 0, or just set it all to 0, either way. Right, let's come back in here and see. Enter value in there. Alright, total reset to 0. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, we also need to disable it. Yeah, we do need to disable it. So txe dot enable equals false. See that, guys? Yeah, it's choosing 1. That's the good thing about that very technique. Right. Okay, disable. Very good. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is just to modify the whole interface, make it look good, and I'll get back to you guys. Okay guys, this is how the interface looks now. When I click on this, I can enter whatever number I want to add, and supposing I intentionally omit 1 and just click on total, there we go. That's going to give me an error, so we need to take care of that. Okay, the other thing is, you see, that's an error right there. Okay, we're going to have to take care of that. The other thing is, when I click on the reset, let's say I enter some value in here, have that reset this one, you have not reset this, and I will also like the color here to be white. Okay, so let's end that. Go to the form load, double click on form load. Let's take care of the color first. Right up there, I'm going to say txt dot back color equals, let's look for something white. Yep, that should take care of that. Okay, the other thing is, that's fine now. That is fine. So let's take care of this problem here. So on right up here, let's come into total, double click on the total, and right here I'm going to enter, let's say for each txt, and let's enter curly bracket there. So that's going to be item 1, that's txt item number 1, comma txt item number 2, txt item number 3, txt item number 4, another comma txt, and item number 5 there. So what I want to do is use an if statement to sort that problem out. So if txt dot text equals nothing, then before the calculation is done, I would like txt.text to be converted or to be assigned a 0 value. So that should hopefully look after that error or that bug in there. So enable equals false. Yeah, and end if. So hopefully this should take care, these lines of code here, that should take care of that. So have a good look at all the lines of code in my total. So let's run that, and intentionally I'm going to leave out one or two. Let's enter some values in here. Alright, click on that. There we go. The ones with the zero, with the empty ones are then allocated as 0. So reset. Now let's finally take care of this one. Okay, exit. So the names of that for the reset, let's double click on this. Okay, to reset this checkbox, let's enter as follows. There we go. From here down here, take a good look of those lines of codes. Okay, these are all the resets functions that I've used for text box, for labels, and for checkbox. Now if I run the program, let's see, right there. Okay, enter value in there, and intentionally leave that out. Click on total, there, that is sorted. Okay, so with that guys, I'm going to call it the end of this tutorial. I suppose you all enjoyed, and please do subscribe and like. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.